Hello Internet, so nice to see you. I received a very long comment and this comment is very interesting and I'm gonna answer this comment in three different parts, okay? All today, all in this video. So let's go and see the first part.
How long should somebody study a subject like this in order to 1. Understand the concept, 2. Be able to see everything on the fretboard without getting lost, 3. Use it naturally during an improvisation?
This is a comment on one of my recent videos about taking it around the fretboard. The exact specific of what we were doing are really not important because this applies to everything. How long do you have to practice something until you really master it? The answer, I'm afraid to tell you guys, it's forever, okay? I am still practicing everything I showed in that video. And not because I'm a lazy bum and I'm not doing anything, okay? It's because the more you practice, the better you get, and the more you can see further away, and you can see there is another level after that, and another level after that. The sky is the limit. We can keep climbing and getting better. So the question is not so much how long you have to practice, but at what level do you need that skill? And it depends on the kind of music you want to play, and it also depends on the reality of your life, meaning how much time do you have, how much energy do you have, and what do you want to become? Because if you want to become a professional guitar player, for instance, the standard is higher. If you want to become an hobbyist or amateur, which again, I say those two words with no negative connotation, okay? For me, a hobbyist and amateur could be still great musician, but in general, those people have less time because they have another job that they're doing, okay? They have a day job that pay for their bills, and that's great. But so they may have less time or energy to dedicate to that. Again, it depends on the specific on who you are and what you want to do, okay? But in general, that's the thing. You don't finish practicing something. You just don't, okay? You don't have to think about guitar like we think about mathematics, okay? In mathematics, you learn something, okay? You learn what a triangle is, okay, or stuff like that, and the sum of the internal angles. You know it. Boom, you know it. Maybe you need to learn to apply it, but you know it. Next. On guitar, you learn something, and everything you learn becomes an infinite source of new music, new exercises, new ideas, new things to play on the guitar. And by the way, this is also partially true in mathematics. So even my example was not particularly great here, but everything you learn multiplies and everything becomes, like I say to my student, everything you learn on the guitar is a bottomless pit. We can keep digging, we can keep finding new things, even on the simplest of things. You don't stop practicing. You keep practicing because it's fun, okay? And because you're making new music and because you're getting better at making music. But it never, ever stops. I know this is not the answer most of you were expecting, but let's see now what I answer on the second and third part, because it will make more sense for what you guys are doing.
Because most guitar teachers, 1. Keep the student doing the same exercise for weeks, 2. Present the lesson today and next week jumps to another subject even if the student is having difficulties or is not fluent.
My recommendation here is first, find a good teacher. 2, pay the teacher. 3, listen to what the teacher says, okay? Do not learn from 2, 3, 100 teachers. Pick a good one, follow what they say until they're done, okay? Which could be forever, because a lot of people really out there really know everything, okay? But choose one and then follow their method. Don't go around fishing for different methods and the shiny objects and different things and the new video on YouTube. But I know I'm on a video on YouTube, okay? Fully aware of the irony here. But pick a path and follow it, okay? I mean, if you want to enlist my help, you know where to find my courses. If you don't want to or you can't for any reason, find somebody else. But pick a teacher and follow that. Now, if the teacher changes topic every single lesson, I will be inclined that unless there are specific exceptions, but usually that's not a good sign. Okay, and again, I don't want to talk bad about anybody, because in some situation this could be a good idea, but it depends on the situation. The teacher keeps you a longer time on some exercises. That for me is usually a good symptom, even if eventually they have to change. Okay, makes sense. But again, it's hard to say something like that because those two phrases can mean a lot of things. And sometimes with my students, I do change topic every week. Why? Because in that moment, that specific student need variety, need to change, and need to switch different gears to understand different things. And in some other situation, for some students, I stay on the same topic for months, not even weeks, because those people, for the music they want, for their personality type, for what they are doing, need to stay on that topic until they finish learning at least a few specific skills. So you see, it's impossible to give a recommendation on who's a good teacher or not, because it depends, okay? It depends on a number of things. But the thing is, pick a good teacher, somebody who can do what you want, or at least whose students can do what you want. If you cannot find anything about their students, don't enlist that teacher. See what their students can do. Why I say that? Because sometimes there are great musicians out there, but their students are not great because the person cannot explain. You don't want the help of that person, not because they're bad, but because they cannot explain it to you. So find out what the students of the teacher you want to enlist can do. And if you like that, that's your teacher, okay? Pick that, follow what that teacher says. Just follow it, okay? If you choose to enlist the help of a teacher, it's because they know more than you. So the most important thing that I can say is the thing that you were not thinking about before. So it's the thing that it looks wrong the first time, but guess what? They know something you don't. Okay, so what looked wrong to you may be exactly the right thing you need. So look if they can deliver and then listen to what they say. And then the third part.
I'm the kind of student who likes to get the most from a minimal idea. I can play variations of the same lick over and over again until it becomes natural for me. But am I wasting my time with something too obvious? Not about this video, but in general, when I should learn something else.
My recommendation, and that's a very general recommendation, it will work for most people most of the time, but definitely not for everybody all the time, is that you want to break up your practice and change topic pretty often. You do not want to spend half an hour doing the same thing. So if you spend half an hour going around the fretboard as I explained in the video I linked before, or if you're spending half an hour playing only technique, or if you're spending half an hour only learning theory, that's probably too much time. You should change topic every 5 and 10 minutes, okay? You should not work on a single thing at a time, because playing guitar is not made of a single element. It's not only theory, it's not only technique, it's not only musicality, it's not only timing, it's not only all those things, it's not only improvisation and creativity, it's all those things. So you want to switch gears often, otherwise you just get stuck in doing one thing. If you spend half an hour, 1 hour, 3 hours doing only, I don't know, technique, after the first 10, 15 minutes, unless again you're changing something continuously, but after the first 10, 15 minutes, you're not learning anything new. You're just rehashing the same thing over and over. Okay, your learning is done. You're still putting energy into it, but there's no result. Okay, but again, does it apply literally every time? No, that's a general recommendation, because the only way to know is to know where you are, what you're studying, and what you need to do. Okay. So nobody can answer this specific question without having more information, and this information will be different depending on the student. There is no general advice that works for everybody all the time, okay? So remember that there's not a one size fits all, simply because we're different people and simply because we want to do different things on the guitar. Some of us want to play lead, some of us want to play rhythm, some of us want to play simple things and slow, some of us want to play super fast things, some of us want to play complex odd time signatures, some of us wants to... The number of goals differ, and the goal can change in time. And depending on the goals and the person you are, the advice will be different, okay? So find somebody you trust. If this somebody is me, again, look at the courses on the top right. If you have any question for me, you can write it down here in the comment. If you want to ask me something more personal, or if you want to know anything about my courses, write me an email, because if you talk about the courses, I need to ask you personal questions to know who you are and what you need, and you don't want to answer those questions in the comments, okay? So if you need, you can write me to my email, or otherwise, again, if you have general questions, write them down in the comments, and I'll be happy to answer them. And if you like this video, smash on that like button. Don't forget to subscribe again. And this is Tommaso Zilio of musictheoryforguitar.com. And until next time, enjoy.